It's time for the Belmont Stakes as the Triple Crown Trail winds to a close. The test of the champion awaits, and we're going to test myself and Joe Christofek's handicapping prowess here. And Joe, you and I have a lot of opinions, but this is the first race I can remember in a while where you and I have very clear opinions on opposite sides of each other.
Well, not only that, Ed, and I love Essential Quality, who I know you really love as a racehorse. And in the Belmont, I think he's the horse to beat. But it's more so that you have such a strong opinion, and I have such a strong opinion. And unless we dead heat, we both can't win. So that's going to make the race in this video that much more fun.
Well, I do have good news. Even if we both can't win, if one of our selections finishes second or third, we do get our money back at Twin Spires. And that's not just for the Belmont Stakes, that's for every race at Belmont Park and Churchill Downs on both Friday and Saturday. So a great promo. Make sure you opt in at twinspires.com/offers. If you're not signed up, do that, get an account and then opt in. You and I, of course, have already done all those particulars, Joe, and you tipped my hand as to who I like. Who are you on in the Belmont Stakes?
I mean, I'm on the same horse I was on in the Kentucky Derby, and Hot Rod Charlie, who was a little bit compromised going into the first turn. Great job by Flavian Pratt to put him in a spot the rest of the journey. Off the turn, I was counting my money. I'm not going to lie. A lot of people think that he hung a little bit in the stretch, that maybe mile and a quarter was too far for him, let alone a mile and a half, pointing to that pedigree, pointing to Oxbow, pointing to Matoli, who is his half brother, who was a champion sprinter. And I can understand where people are coming from thinking that, but this horse has had 5 weeks off. I think he continues to get better and better. He's not afraid of a fight. He's got tactical speed. He's going to get a great trip. And as the third choice in the morning line at 7-2, I'm all in on him. I really love his chances in this race, particularly as a likely third choice.
Well, certainly in the Derby, he made what I thought looked like a winning move. The positive is he finished ahead of my top pick, Central Quality. The negative is I do think if he were a mile and a half horse, he should have been able to sustain that at a mile and a quarter. And in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, Joe, I thought he made a winning move, granted at 90+1, and Essential Quality was able to collar him in. That's what I think happens in the Belmont Stakes. Tapit, still looking for his first Derby winner, but is well established in the Belmont, and certainly looking to that pedigree. And it just seems like, based on how Essential Quality was coming into the Derby after that dogfight with Holly Motivated in the Bluegrass, this just feels a little different. It's an extra week. The workouts seem a little more brilliant in my mind. And at 2-1, I'm going to steal your line. I'm all in at that price on Essential Quality.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. You talk about, Tapit having a Belmont, having success in the Belmont. Oxbow hasn't had success in any races. I mean, he's just not that good of a stallion, but some under the radar pedigree. Obviously, I have to Matoli. Doug O'Neill thought that this horse was a sprinter early in his career, but he's continued to get better and better and better and better. Hot Rod Charlie has. And I think they're both going to get the right trip at just off the early speed, most likely of Rock Your World. And people are like, oh, Rock Your World, he deserves another chance in the Belmont after that rough start in the Kentucky Derby. He didn't do any running in the Kentucky Derby. And of course, Spendthrift bought into him, as a stallion prospect before the Derby. Of course, they're not going to go back to turf. They're going to go back in a classic race in the Belmont and try to up his stud price and his stud value moving forward. They're already all in on the horse, so I'm not surprised he's in this race, but I'm very glad that he's going to be taking some money, quite honestly.
Yeah, I agree with you. He's not for me, which should be, in my mind, a suppressed price. The other two expected to take money are Rombauer, the Preakness winner, who I think this is a big ask on 3 weeks rest. Is a Sheets guy. I mean, I look at that big number he threw up, and now he's right back at 3 weeks going a mile and a half. That's not for me. And then Known Agenda, I know, has his supporters as well. And of the alternatives to Essential Quality, I'd say I probably like him the most of those expected to take money. But I mean, personally, I don't see him as any threat to the champion.
Rombauer could bounce like a super ball. No question about that. Also, when you talk about mile and a half pedigree, Ed, you want to talk about Twirling Candy out of a Cowboy Cow mare? That's not mile and a half pedigree. And then you look at Known Agenda. He was under a ride the entire Kentucky Derby and never made a move. If you throw out the Florida Derby where he earned that huge speed figure in one going away, and the Florida horses this year weren't any good. If you throw that race out, look at the other speed figures. They're certainly not that great. So I
No.
think he's a little bit overrated as well. I might have the Hot Rod Charlie Essential Quality Exacta punched many, many times in this year's Belmont.
I'm sticking to win. I think that'll be enough for me at the price. It sounds like we have a lot of agreement on the alternatives to our top picks, but very well defined who you and I both like. It's Essential Quality for me and for you once again.
Hot Rod Charlie just off the pace, takes the lead off the turn for home, holds off Essential Quality to get the money.
All right, that's our thoughts on the Belmont Stakes. Don't forget, opt in at twinspires.com/offers for that great money back offer, not just on the Belmont, but all races at Belmont Park and Churchill Downs. It's been a great Triple Crown season. We'll see you for Stephen Foster Day, I imagine.